Hey there, welcome. I'm so excited to have you here as always, and I trust that you'll find encouragement and hope. We are starting a new topic for a new month, and that is dreams, gifts, talents. Oh, you guys, it gets me going. I am passionate about us knowing what our dreams are, realizing what our gifts are and our talents so that we can steward them well, right? This quarter we are focusing on stewardship. Stewardship is taking care of what's been given to us. So, interesting fact I just learned recently is that in our walk with God, we are given gifts by the Spirit. Knew that part, but the reality is that we get to choose how to use them, right? So the part is sometimes people think, okay, if you have a gift of the Spirit, you only get that if you are blah, blah, blah. The truth is that once you were created with these gifts and you get to activate them and use them. And so part of that is just realizing that you have gifts and to I'm not like name it and claim it kind of stuff, but just to acknowledge that, when people say, wow, you're really creative. Wow, you're really great at organizing. Wow, I really you whatever. You encourage me. We need to be aware that those are not to be taken lightly. Number one, we need to be willing to receive that compliment. That is probably a different podcast. But we also need to be willing to hear what they say and then let that roll around in your brain. Can you name right now three things people have said about you in the last month? I hope you can. I hope you have people in your life who see you for who you are. And if you don't, it might be time to meet some new people, to sign up for a few different groups on Facebook that are interesting to you or in your community and to find people who are, I mean, obviously, we're not just like, it's all about us when we go to these groups, but to things that you're interested in, and then start connecting and being around people who have similar interests in you or are willing to be or who are positive and are willing to say, hey, that's really cool, that's exciting. Kurt recently, with my Plexus journey, that's the supplements that have really changed my life. um, we've developed a group. My upline has developed a group, and so there's a few of us that connect throughout the month, and it's been so encouraging, and they're awesome, and it's just been fun to be a part of an atmosphere where people are throwing out words of encouragement and blessing you in your weakness and saying, "Oh, it's fine. You're gonna live it. You're gonna learn, and you're gonna move forward." And so, be around those people because they are gonna recognize your talents and your gifts, and they're gonna nudge you and push you towards your dreams, and that's huge because you need those people in your court so that you can continue to move forward with your dreams. All right. So let's go back. Let's go back to the part where what are my gifts? What are my talents? I am scared of any of this. That happens. That happens in life when we've been hurt, right? When we've had a dream, we've gone for it, and then we fell on our face. That sucks, right? And it doesn't mean that we don't have that gift or talent. Maybe sometimes we were trying to be like someone else and we did it their way and it didn't work. Maybe we were getting ahead of God and not doing it in his timing. Maybe it was a character lesson versus a time to do that. So there are different reasons why it can feel scary to venture out. And sometimes, like we just talked about, we don't really know what we're good at or what we think we should be doing, right? There's that confusion or uncertainty. And that can also be part of just our experiences as a kid. Maybe people didn't really tell us, hey, you're great at that. Hey, why? Maybe, or maybe like me, I remember people being like, you should definitely be a teacher. And they just always loved how I was with kids, which I mean, I am gifted with the kids because I'm a little quirky. But the reality was is that I was a older sibling, so I always had like so many younger siblings because we did fostering also, and those were good experiences. But by the time I got to Bible school, I was so done with kids that it was kind of like, can I just please pick something else, like anything else, like show me what else I can do. And so it was good for me to have different experiences that revealed that, oh, I actually like working one on one with kids more than in a big group. Like, even though I can lead at camp, um, us in a wide game, I would way rather have a one on one deeper connection with a kid over the Bible story or what they're struggling with, or if those, hence my coaching side started popping up way back then. Um, so start being willing to hear the good things about who you are, right? And part of it is just like, hey, God, help me not be in the way of discerning what the gifts you've given to me are. Because if we are saying we don't have gifts, that's not true. God has promised to give us gifts. Look through the Bible, pop in the word gifts of the Spirit, and look through them. Some of them are encouraging, some of them are teaching, some of them are acts of service. My husband is amazing acts of service. My goodness, that guy. He just built me like a table for like a puzzle top for our table, and I had this little table, and I was just like, babe, I need a piece of wood. And he's like a, like a actual carpenter, like Red Seal carpenter, and he has his own business that's carpentry. And he's like, a piece of wood. I'm like, yeah, I'm just gonna like lay it on top of here and then like build a puzzle on it. And he's like, it's gonna fall off. And I'm like, well, could we like stick blocks of wood, like hammer them on, and then it's like wedged on the small table? And he just like got up and started creating me this beautiful tabletop that I'm just about scared to use. But so the fact is that for him, that wasn't a hard thing to do. It was he wanted to love on me that way, and he just went and did it, and it filled his tank. Whereas like for me, even today as I'm doing a batch of podcasts, part of me was excited. I'm like, yeah, I'm not really talking to anyone when I do these, but I am excited about those who will listen, and I'm excited about these concepts and principles. And so that shows that I have a teacher and encourager and coach in me that is cheerleader, maybe trying to get out. And so be excited, be curious about who you are and how God's made you, and ask him. Say, okay, God, people say that you give us gifts and talents, and I want to be a good steward of what you give me. Show me what that looks like. My friend has incredible baking. Oh my goodness. And so she often gifts that to other people. Another friend is she organizes like in her sleep, or it's amazing. And so I know to lean on her when I need some insights for organizing, and I love organizing too, so it's where we connect really well. But it's fun to pick her brain and get different ideas. So be willing to be curious about what your gifts are. Do not, I repeat, do not fall for the lie that you didn't get gifts or you can't do things, because that is not true. It's simply not true. When you look in the word of God, he says that he has created things in advance for us to do, and he has given us the gift of his spirit. Those are things that he has said in his word about us. If when we are when we have asked received the gift of salvation and said, yes, I want what you have for me, and he becomes Lord of our life, these are the things he offers us. And he's a generous good God. He's not going to be like, everybody, all my kids get a gift but you. That is not true. Maybe that happened in your childhood. If so, I am sorry, but that is not the reality of how God treats us. He talks even in Matthew about how he gives his kids good gifts, and in James he talks about every good and perfect gift comes from me. And so it's time for us to open our eyes and say, okay, God, what gifts and talents have you given me? And how do you want me to use them? There's seasons of my life where I haven't been able to use them as much as I wanted to, or in the way that I wanted to, that my my platform was my household and my couch, my bedroom, because I had chronic illness. And yet God gave me other opportunities to write letters to our compassion kids, or in the good old days to phone somebody up. And he introduced me to Facebook. That's actually when I learned about Facebook. It was hilarious. I finally got out of our house into the mall, and it was super fun. And a friend was like, Andrea, why aren't you on Facebook? She saw me at the mall. I'm like, what are you talking about? And she educated me as to the whole world of Facebook. That was way back when. And I'm so thankful she did, because it really, really was good for my mental health at that point in my life when I was trapped at home and had often trapped in my body, and had lots of little kids. And it was just really important to be able to tap into the world of adults and enjoy that other people could have a rough day too, and it wasn't actually only me who was struggling. And that was really beneficial. So ask God again, get curious, what are my gifts, what are things you and honestly look at things you enjoy doing, because those are usually connected to your gifts. I enjoy creating things. I don't see myself as an artist. My daughter says I am. um, I, but at the same time, too, as I've developed this business, Flying Free Ministries, I've definitely been creating. That's what I do all the time. I create content for you guys through podcasts, through my courses. Oh, speaking of which, there is a Start Living Your Dream course that's in the Freedom Flow Academy. Probably not quite yet, but in process this month. So it should be up soon. And I just love giving people tools that are practical, because I'm a practical pants too. So, which is kind of an interesting combo, being creative with the practical twist, but I love it. And so that is how God's made me. And as I embrace that, then I see the opportunities He has for me. And I also, it makes it more obvious what things I should be a part of and what things I shouldn't be a part of. I'm not a meeting girl. Blah, they make me cry. I am really efficient. And so if I can be in a meeting that is like, these are the three things, let's talk and move on, then yay. But if it's like, let's talk about it for a long time and not make a decision, then I'm like, let me out of here. And so that's not a place where I would thrive. And so I don't usually sign up for committees. And I will pretty much never sign up for committees, but I can serve in other ways. And so that's where I am a good steward of my gifts because I'm aware of my gifts also give us energy. Did you know that? We talked about energy boosters last week. And so when we're operating out of our giftedness, it gives us energy. So you'll notice that if you are stuck in a job that isn't connected to your gifting, you really have to ask God to show you how your giftedness can be connected to your job. So case in point, pizzas. I was delivered pizzas. Pizza delivery girl, which it's still hilarious that I got that job. But anyway, um, the creative part was making the pizza, although you had to do it exactly how they said. Um, but the parts that were still in my gifting, I was still interacting with people, therefore I could still encourage. And so that was the survival point of the job. There are times when we don't, like I said already, there's different levels of our giftedness that we are allowed to do. And that's okay because it means that God is preparing us for that next thing. I remember when I was an advocate at the Pregnancy Care Center in our community, God was really just teaching me so much stuff and giving me so many amazing opportunities. But really, part of that process for me and that obedience journey was for me to learn more about coaching and how do I really listen and how do I really pour into someone else and hear their story and empathize with them. And so, yeah, get excited about what your gifts are and ask God what they are and ask your friends what they are. And if you want to, you could totally schedule a complimentary session with me and I would love to tell you what your gifts are because it's for me it just seems to be really easy to say, hey, I think you rock at that, you enjoy that, look what you do. So and then maybe from there it's about piecing it into like what does this look like in my life and how can I incorporate it or maybe the bigger picture dream of like, yeah, this is what I love to do, but this is how I'm stuck here and how do I get over to actually living out this dream or this gifting that God's given to me. And we can work on that too because God does. I know from experience sometimes my dreams have been paused. I remember sitting, not even being able to stand during ladies conference and listening to the speaker and watching the worship team and being like, man, I would just frustrated that I couldn't be on the stage being the speaker or helping lead worship. And God was just had to put me through my chronic illness stuff so that I could learn so much about him and about intimacy with him and surrender and oh my goodness, so many lessons. And he could teach me freedom in that chaos and that what seemed chaos to me, or just that in that pause, even to maybe make me more aware of what my gifts are and what my desires are, so that when I was healthy, I was willing to take the plunge and obey and write my book and start my business. And so yeah, we don't know why all the steps are there, and they're definitely hard steps. I'm not denying that at all. But it doesn't mean that we don't have gifts. So when the enemy would seek to tell you, meh, all the other ladies have gifts, you don't, tell him that is not true and tell him to go talk to Jesus because you just don't even need to talk, waste your time on him. Blessings on you. Go read Psalm 139. Go Google Gifts of the Spirit through Bible Gateway. So maybe not Google, go to Bible Gateway and then check out Gifts of the Spirit and read those passages and say, okay, Daddy, show me what is mine. What is mine to do? And show me what giftings you've given to me and where I can enjoy doing them. Yay. I look forward to hearing from you. Feel free to book a session and let's chat more. And thank you so much for your time today.